Welcome to the BitBoy Morning Show. We're taking a look at Bitcoin as trades brace for impact today as we get the Federal Reserve announcement. Be here in about an hour or so. That's going to reveal that they're going to do a rate cut, and then some people are thinking there's actually going to be some dovish talk, meaning basically bearish talk. What they're going to say may not be good for the future. They may say they're putting a pause on hikes for a while. We just want to see them stay flexible. So we'll be on the lookout for that news when it hits tomorrow, but that's where we're at today. Traders are bracing for impact. So let's go ahead and get started. Here we go. The market cap. It's up 3.6% at $3.278 trillion. 24-hour volume coming in at 121 billion. Bitcoin dominance 56.9%. ETH dominance 12.1%. Let's refresh, make sure we get the latest number because it's been moving a good bit. Yeah, actually, it's moved a good bit. Market cap, it's actually $3.256 trillion. 24-hour volume down 132 billion. Bitcoin dominance 56.7%. And ETH starting to make a little bit of a comeback, 12.4%. And it'll cost you less than a fifth of a GUI to send a ETH transaction. Here's a visualization of the market cap and of the trading volume. Let's see, we've already looked at all of these projects recently. And we've actually looked at all these projects recently as well. Midnight, both trending and one of the top gainers. So, Terra, I don't think there's anything to look at there. I don't know why. Terra Luna Classic continue to move a little bit just because they're the news. Bitcoin committed $92,480. I took a short yesterday at 93.5. Closed it as a win. Ethereum coming at 33.55. XRP 207. BNB $895.12. Solana coming in at 136.8. Tron at 0.2775, almost 28 cents. Down a little bit. Dogecoin 14.5 cents and 46.5 cents for Cardano. Bybit at 63.10. Bitcoin Cash at 569. Chainlink at $14.18. So many of these stake tokens. So many of them. And so that's just going to be based on their market caps is going to be what makes it up here. But, do we really need to see Tether up here at $1 every day? I don't think so, but we do. Okay. Midnight waiting for 7-day and 30-day numbers, but it's up 3.8% for the hour, 64%. Their website's pretty cool. I think they did a good job with it. OKB 2.3%. Last hour, excuse me. Caspa 1.3%. Caspa starting to hit some falls. Back to 79 on market cap. Where are the Caspa people that obliterated me for saying that it would not get in the top 10? $409.27, 1.2% for Monero. Aave 1.1%. Algorand 1.1%. Uniswap. Near, Sui, ETH, all 1% gains and above. On the other side, you have Mantle down 0.9%. Caden Coin finally with that 30-day score, minus 48.3%. I'm sure it'll be tops when we look at it here in a little bit. Meme Core down 0.2%. WorldCoin proving its blockchain quant. Tron, Solana all over 1% losses in the last hour. Midnight still enjoying a 24-hour jump, 64%. Monero, OKB, Meme Core, Mantle, same coins pretty much. A lot of the same coins we just looked at. Ethereum at 1.8%. I bet 1.4%. Top losers of the last 24 hours: Caspa, Prudence Blockchain, Athena, VChain. VChain at number 100, man. That thing is really not doing well. Polkadot at 43, holding up considerably well, considering it's a junk project. Pump.fund 0.5%, Pepe 0.5%, Filecoin 0.5%, Cosmos. Oh, I'm sorry. We're looking at the. Sorry. Pump.fund down 5.3% for the 24 hours. Pepe 4.7, Filecoin 4.2. So there we go. 7 days. Green. Prudence Blockchain, Zcash, OKB, Meme Core, Rocket Pool, ETH. I don't care about that. Then down to Mantle. A lot of gainers in the 8% range. A lot of gainers at the 3 to 5% range. Check out 7 day. Hyperliquid down 14.7%. Still very high in the ranking to 25. Quant 10.9% down. Caspa 10.3% down. Quant and Caspa were both out of the top 100 for a little bit. It came charging back, and it looks like it's dropping back down again. Aster 9.2%. Aptos 9.1%. VChain down 7.1%. Pi Network 6.7%. That was over $1 at one time. A lot of losers in the 7 day. A lot of losers in the 24 hours. So I was correct. Coin coming in at the tops of the 30-day losers, 48.3%. Then ICP, 47.7%. We looked at his huge drop yesterday. 43% for Aptos. Meme Core, Filecoin, near all above 35% losers. The stuff. 30-day winners, we got Rain, Whitebit, Bitcoin Cash, Monero, Leo Token, Sky, formerly Maker, 0.1%, and the rest, 2% losers or better. All right, 2% winners or less. That's what I meant to say. Rain had one good pump one day, and it is just still living on that pump. Made it all the way up here to the top. So they have a cool thing over here. Polkadot has the same thing. I think Polkadot's the only other one that has a animated symbol here. Let's see. You have to wonder how much they paid for that. Let's see. Still going, still looking for a moving animated. Yeah, it looks like it is the only one. Yep. So you got 2 coins only that have that fun little animation on CoinGecko. Now Rain is one of those coins. Okay. All right. Did have a winning position yesterday. My last 3 trades pretty strong. 817, 1105, 1453. Those are my last trades on Phemex. You guys can join us on Phemex. We have a link above that you can type in your browser. We also have links down below in the description if you want to trade with Phemex like we do. We're going to start trading with a few other sites as well. But Phemex has always been a good partner of ours, who will continue to be. So right now it's kind of like in the middle of a range. Probably wouldn't want to trade this on the daily. We're going to wait and see what happens with the Fed results. See what happens when the Fed results come out, what they say, and how they say it, which is going to be very important. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But it looks like it, Bitcoin trying to mount a comeback here, but we'll just have to see if it's going to be able to. I really want to take another short, to be honest with you. I think even though we're kind of in a middle range here, I think once this Fed news comes out and he starts talking, I think it's going to go down. That's usually what it does. But he could come out and say, "Hey, no, we're still real bullish." So, I mean, he's not going to say it like that, but okay. Fear and Greed Index, check it out. I mean, at 26, just fear, only regular fear. Yesterday it was still extreme fear, but today we're just at regular fear. Let's see what the Fed watch is. So 89.6%. Probably market has it at 94% chance. I don't think there's any chance that they're not going to make a rate cut today. Singapore tops global crypto rankings as RWA tokenization jumped 63%. Singapore has taken the top position in Bybit's world crypto rankings, strengthening its status as one of the most active and structured digital asset markets. The new index, produced in conjunction with DL Research, evaluates country users across user activity. Evaluates countries across user activity, institutional readiness, and cultural engagement. Positions Singapore ahead of the United States and Lithuania, two countries that continue to shape the direction of global crypto markets in distinct ways. The report shows how Singapore reached a score of 7.5 out of 10, driven by high user penetration and strong cultural engagement around digital assets. Its licensing regime, high digital literacy, and active institutional sector helped create one of the strongest pipelines between retail users and regulated financial entities. User activity follows, or United States follows closely with a score of 7.3. Its ranking is supported by trade volumes, custody activity, growing base of tokenization projects involving major banks and asset managers. Lithuania, which placed third with a score of 6.3, continues to be a preferred regulatory base for fintech and exchange firms. Top 10 also includes Switzerland, United Arab Emirates, Ireland, Canada, the Netherlands, Vietnam, and Hong Kong. Here you can see this is institutional readiness, and this is GDP per capita. That's still very high. In contrast, Vietnam, Nigeria, Ukraine, and the Philippines rely on crypto for everyday functions such as remittances, payments, and savings during currency pressure or banking restrictions. This pattern is consistent with earlier studies from Chainalysis and TRM Labs, which also found high adoption in markets facing economic constraints. Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia, the country, continue to lead when measured against population size. The report also highlights how quickly real-world asset tokenization has expanded. The market for tokenized RWAs, including stablecoins, has risen more than 63% since January 2024, reaching $25.7 billion early in 2025. Notably, private credit and U.S. Treasuries dominate the sector, holding $15.6 billion and $6.7 billion respectively. The United States maintains the strongest institutional readiness with a perfect score, supported by regulatory clarity and deep Wall Street engagement. BlackRock's Biddle Fund remains one of the fastest expanding tokenized platforms or portfolios, reaching between $1.8 billion and $2.28 billion across several blockchains. Treasury products metrics. Canada now ranks second in institutional readiness with a score of 0.93, supported by new rules for banks and insiders that will take effect in 2026. Philippines is also gaining momentum, becoming a regional example for Southeast Asia as it sets guidelines designed for remittance-heavy markets. Let's see. Stablecoin flow. Ukraine records the highest stablecoin flow relative to GDP at 3.6%, followed by Nigeria, Georgia, Vietnam, and Armenia. UAE recorded a 21% surge in adoption, the highest of any country in 2025, supported by high ownership levels and strong search activity. Singapore and the United States follow with adoption growth of 150% and 220%, respectively. All right, the top story of the day. Bitcoin jumps to 94,000, but hawkish gut threatens crypto rally. Bitcoin jumped to hover near $94,000 on Tuesday, but strategists grew cautious of a year-end crypto rally. Amid growing expectations that the Federal Reserve will cut rates this week, while signaling a potential pause in future policy easing. Markets widely expect the central bank to deliver a 25 basis point cut rate reduction at the end of its two-day policy meeting on Wednesday. Both CME, FedWatch, and Polymarket show growing bets that Fed Chair Jerome Powell's post-meeting remarks could signal a pause in January as policymakers try to balance containing inflation with cooling the labor market. If Powell does indeed deliver a hawkish speech, the likelihood of a Santa rally for Bitcoin diminishes. Momentum hasn't been on Bitcoin side lately despite fresh purchases by Michael Saylor's strategy, so he may well finish 2025 under $100,000. He expects crypto to rebound once President Trump announces his pick to replace Powell when his term ends in May. Leading candidate is Kevin Hassett, who is viewed as an industry-friendly choice. With ultra-dovish Kevin Hassett looking like the frontrunner to replace Powell next year, markets could very quickly switch from depression to euphoria in 2026. Bitcoin has struggled to rebound in recent weeks after crashing from its October high of around $126,000. The BTC trades near high end of its recent $81,000 to $94,000 range. We remain cautious towards chasing breakouts here. The analysts note buyers who purchased within the past 6 months did so at a cost basis of around $103,000 per token. When Bitcoin trades below this cost basis, investors are more likely to sell the rip than buy the dip. Bitcoin has slipped 2% so far this year, setting it up for its worst year showing since 2022. Crypto winter wiped out 64% of its value. Token is also diverging sharply from stocks for the first time since 2014, as S&P 500 powers ahead with a 16% gain. Wall Street has been scaling back expectations for the crypto sector. Standard Chartered has cut its year-end Bitcoin price target to $100,000 from $200,000. That's a big cut. That's a 50% cut. That's big. Firm's head of digital assets, Jeff Kendrick, also slashed his 2026 target to $150,000 from $300,000. There you go. U.S. bank regulator says banks can act as crypto intermediaries. Banks will be allowed to act as intermediaries on crypto transactions. National U.S. bank U.S. bank regulator said on Tuesday. In the last step of the Trump administration to narrow the gap between traditional financial sectors and crypto activities, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency issued new guidance saying banks can engage in what are known as riskless principal transactions involve crypto assets and would not receive scrutiny from the regulator. It's a pretty bullish story. In such transactions, banks effectively act as brokers, buying assets from one counterparty while simultaneously entering a transaction to sell those assets to another counterparty. The bank does not hold on to any crypto assets as inventory as part of the process, except in rare circumstances, the OCC said. Donald Trump is taking a welcoming approach in the crypto sector, rewriting rules and removing guardrails, while his family engages in crypto ventures. Critics say such changes have made the traditional financial sector loosely regulated volatile world of cryptocurrencies more interconnected, potentially creating systemic risks. U.S. bank regulators have already withdrawn numerous restrictions on crypto activities, such as by banks established under Joe Biden. In March, the OCC approved some crypto activity by banks, scrapped earlier guidance telling firms to seek advanced approval from watchdogs before diving into the sector. Tim Scott's Balancing Act. Biggest test of Senator Tim Scott's legislative career is coming to a head in the final week of 2025 as the first-year Chet of the Senate Banking Committee races to strike a landmark cryptocurrency deal with Democrats. It could carry outsized consequences for next year's midterms. Scott, who also chairs the GOP campaign arm, is navigating messy politics and a complex policy debate as he pushes a sweeping crypto market structure bill that would overhaul how digital assets are regulated. The effort has put the affable South Carolina Republican in an unusual bind, courting Democrats as banking chair while gearing up to defeat them as head of the National Republican Senatorial Committee. Balancing Act is made more complicated by a massive amount of campaign money that's at stake. Crypto sector is poised to dump hundreds of millions of dollars into influencing 2026 elections, and Scott is tasked with trying to tilt that toward Republicans. The process has been chaotic at times. It's tough to build a policy in public, and that's what they're doing, said Patrick McHenry. The fight highlights the challenges Scott faces as the first Republican in nearly 25 years, simultaneously chair a Senate bill in NRSC. He needs Democratic cooperation to pass a crypto bill, but he must use that work to fundraise against some of those same lawmakers. Crypto spending is expected to loom large and pivotal Senate races, including the re-election of the top GOP targets like Democratic Senators John Ossoff of Georgia and Mark Warner of Virginia, who both previously backed industry-friendly crypto legislation. All right. Crypto market is a buoyant mood ahead of Wednesday's Federal Reserve interest rate decision. The overwhelming expectation is the Fed will cut by 25 points, a move seen as favorable to Bitcoin. Interest rate decisions often create volatile trading sessions. While a 25 bips rate can be perceived as bullish, there's a scenario where traders decide further gains down are unlikely and sell off once the news is released. We already covered this pretty thoroughly. People are sticking with Bitcoin instead of making overly risky altcoin bets. Yeah, we don't need to get into this one. Let's go back and finish the story. Let's see. Kirsten Gillibrand is helping with the bill. He partnered with Elizabeth Warren on a housing bill. Excuse me. All right, guys. Well, that is all we got for today. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And be blessed. BitBoy out.